All right then, welcome to Ollama Bootcamp. So in this series, we will actually see what is Ollama and how to use it, how you can run large language models on local, offline without any subscription or without any vendor lock-in. This is module 0, and in this module we will actually see what is Ollama. We will see how you can set up your environment so that you can run these large language models, and we will also see some basic CLI commands which we will use every day when we are building on top of these different downloaded models and then creating proof of concepts using that, right? So we will basically download a base model and then we will run the base model. We will interact with it after basically downloading and installing Ollama, right? So here we go. So first of all, you just follow along. This is just a simple, I would say, video which you can just follow along inside or with your laptop, right? All you need is a Windows, Mac, or a Linux desktop or laptop, and then access to internet and also permissions to install the downloaded software. So what is Ollama? Well, it's an open source framework. It's an open source framework for running and managing large language models on local computing resources, which means you can even run AI model like ChatGPT or Gemini on local, fully offline without any vendor lock-in, right? So that's the advantage. You can load and deploy large language models on your PC. You can use it for local sandbox. You can use it to create proof of concepts with that. You can run GenAI models offline so that you don't have to have any vendor lock-in. You don't have to get into any subscription pricing and things like that. You can completely run it offline even without an internet connection, right? So what do you need to set up the environment? All you need is to go to ollama.com. You can pause here and open a new browser tab and go to ollama.com. And the setup steps are similar for whatever operating system you're using. It's the same for Windows, Mac, and Linux, right? So you just need to install Ollama. And what we will do is we will first of all go to the Ollama webpage and then install Ollama, right? So on here, I had just have a new, I would say, desktop here where I'm just going to open up Safari and then just type ollama.com. Ollama.com. The link is also in the description. You can basically go here and click the download button and then basically choose the operating system of your choice and then install, using the installer which is present. For Mac, it's just a simple DMG file you just download and run. For Linux, it's just a one-line command, and for Windows, there is a MSI or there's an exe file, a setup file, so that you can basically run the setup file. Let's do it for Mac. I just basically click on the download button, and once I click on the download button, as usual, let's allow it to download. Once the download is completed, okay, you can basically start up by installing Ollama and then run the setup, run the installer, and you can basically have Ollama up and running. When Ollama is running, you can see this simple, I would say simple icon here. This is just Llama icon. It just simply is telling that Ollama is already running here. It's already up and running for us, and then we can start using it, right? So how to start using it, right? So how to start to use it? We will get there. We'll get there in a moment. But just to make sure everybody is on the same page, you install Ollama, you test the Ollama CLI, and then you run an LLM offline. So let's do one thing. Let's open up a terminal window. So this is just my terminal I'm opening, and here I'm just going to run Ollama. Ollama is already installed. You can see it's already running. I can see it running by looking at this simple llama. You see this llama here, it's already running. So it's all running, up and running. So I just hit enter. And I see all these different available commands. I have the Ollama serve, Ollama create, show, run, stop, pull, push, list, ps, cp, rm, and help. All these are different basic CLI commands. We will go through each and every command in a moment, but let's actually test it out. How to test it out? You can test it out by basically downloading a large language model and running it, right? So where do you get these models from? As you already saw, if I open Safari page here on the Ollama website, you can see that I have this particular models. Let me just allow this one. I have this particular models link here. So you can basically click on models and these are all the different large language models which are created and which are open to public by different companies. So you have a Phi 3 model which is by Microsoft. You have the Quen model which is, I think, by Alibaba. You have the Llama model which is by Meta, right? You have the Gemma model which is by Google DeepMind. Like these, you have different large language models which you can directly download and run. So let's put it to test. We can do this. Let's basically download the 5.3 model. It's a very lightweight model and it downloads faster because it's very lightweight model. And what we will do is we'll just basically do Ollama pull Phi 3, right? That's it. You can just run Ollama pull Phi 3 and it's going to go to the Ollama website and then basically download the model. You can see it's loading, and using the magic of video editing, I'm just going to make sure I fast forward the loading so that you don't have to wait. Once the loading is done, then we can continue from there, right? So I will show you what to do after we download it. By this side, you can also download it. As I talk to you, you can also download the entire model. And you can see here, this is 5.3 model, which is a family of lightweight 3 billion parameters or 14 billion parameters state-of-the-art open models by Microsoft. There are different models, different large language models used for different purposes, right? In this case, they are also telling you or showing you the metrics of how powerful is 5.3 mini and 5.3 medium, and also the intended primary use cases. Here they are also mentioning the primary use cases so that we understand which model we should use in different circumstances, right? So in this case, this is a model by Microsoft. Like this, we have this Quen model, Quen 2.5 model, which is again a nice small little model, which is by Alibaba. And you can see here it possesses significant knowledge on mathematics and coding. So it's specific model, specifically built for STEM, STEM fields. You can use it for STEM use cases, right? That is science, technology, electronics, mathematics use cases, right? Then we have the Llama model. Llama model is the most capable openly available model that's basically given or distributed by Meta. So here is the Llama model. They're also telling about their different metrics, showing their different metrics of how it compares with other different large language models. You also have Gemma. Gemma is from Google DeepMind, which is again another large language model specifically by Google, right? In this case, I think looks like my Phi 3 model is ready. Phi 3 model is being pulled, right? Now I have pulled this Phi 3 model. I have pulled this one large language model, Phi 3. Fine. Now, how can I know what are the different models do I have on my laptop, on my system? I can basically run the Ollama, Ollama list. Ollama list is going to list all the models which I have currently downloaded. It's already there, which means I can disconnect my Wi-Fi and then interact with Phi 3, right? We will see how to interact with Phi 3 in a moment, but so far so good. We have downloaded, installed Ollama, and then we are basically downloaded a model. Great. Now let's go back and then let's actually see some Ollama CLI basics. Okay, some basic Ollama CLI commands, right? Starting with Ollama serve. Ollama serve will start the Ollama server, and then it will serve all the downloaded models so that you can interact with it. Okay, keep in mind that if the Ollama icon is in your taskbar, you don't need to run Ollama serve because it's already running. In that case, if you see here, the Ollama is basically this icon is in the taskbar. I don't have to actually run Ollama serve because it's already serving behind the scenes. It's already running, and I will still be able to interact with the model. So that's Ollama serve. Just in case you quit Ollama and you still want to do it, or you still want to serve it for temporary use cases, you can still run this one. Then comes Ollama create. Keep in mind, going back to our Safari page of Ollama homepage. Let's go to Ollama homepage here and then look at this one. They say run Llama 5.3, Mistral, Gemma 2, and other models, or customize and create your own large language models, right? So you can basically run an existing large language model, and you can also create a new large language model basically using one of these models as a base, right? So you use one of these models as a base and you create your own model, own GenAI model, right? So that you can interact with it specifically for a specific use case. We will see all of that in probably in upcoming videos. We will see how to create our own, but now you can see that Ollama Create basically gives this capability for us, right? So Ollama Create helps us create a custom model. To create a custom model, you need some base model, right? So that's basically your 5.3 or your Meta, I would say your Llama or your Gemma or your different models, right? All these different models which we basically see, that can be basically any one of these models, 5.3, Quen, Llama, Gemma, or any one of these models. These can also be all of them can actually be your base models, or your models which on top of which you can basically start building your new models, right? We will use this in upcoming videos to create our own models, and on top of the base models as blueprints, we will start working on that, right? Then you have the Ollama Show. Ollama Show will display the model information and then helps you in model selection, right? So you want to know the use case, why a model can be used. That's when you can use Ollama Show, right? For example, let's actually go back to a terminal, and then I have the 5.3 latest, right? So let's see what happens when I basically run Ollama Show, right? Ollama Show 5.3. You can see here it says its model architecture is 5.3, parameters 3.8 billion parameters, 131,072 context length, and embedding length of 3072, quantization Q4_0. We will actually be using all of these metrics later in later videos when we are basically creating a new model. For now, keep in mind that this is just a simple model that's basically created by Microsoft, right? So created by Microsoft is just a simple model here, right? And it's also mentioning the quantization and context length and embedding length. Let's do one thing. Let's actually try to download some other model, let's say the Llama model, and then let's run this Ollama Show, right? So how do you do it? You basically go back all the way to our let's go back all the way to our browser here, and this is Llama 3, right? So I have this 8 billion parameter Llama 3. So what I can do is just copy this and just type Ollama, okay, pull Llama 3. So I'm pulling this Llama model from Meta. So you can basically pull it as usual, and then run show, so that you can understand how big is this model, or what is the context length this model can take, right? And also who basically created this model. We will understand what is a context length and how to use it, and what is embedding and how to use it, all of that in the upcoming videos. For now, you can basically download it and basically see for yourself. Why we need this information? Basically, every large language model is kind of frozen in time, right? It's basically it has some corpus knowledge based on internet scale data. It has been trained, and then it's been trained on that internet scale data, and then there is a time when the training ends, and that's when they basically publish it here, so that we can pull and we can use it. And the moment we pull and use it, it just simply means that the date when they published it, you can basically see that it has limited knowledge to that particular day, right? And then you can see all that metadata about the model itself by running Ollama Show, right? So now once this entire model is downloaded, you can basically run Ollama Show on Llama 3, and then we can basically see how much of data does this particular I would say model even contain, right? You can also see more information about the use cases of when and how frequently you can or you should be using that particular model. right? For what different use cases that model deems fit. All the information you can understand by looking at the metadata and also the model page. This is the model page here, and you can see Ollama show will generally let us know about all the different information about the model itself. So that the whatever model you are basically downloading there, right? So that's Ollama show. Keep in mind, whenever you are working with our Ollama software, you basically have to run it, right? You have to run, and you can run it on the terminal, or even you can do an API call. We will talk about that API call in a moment, but we can actually run it on the terminal. Let's do one thing. Let's actually open up a new tab, okay, a new tab here, and then basically I will say Ollama run 5.3. right? Ollama run 5.3. So I'm just basically running the 5.3 downloaded model. Model is already downloaded. I'm just simply running it. So when I basically run this command, what is going to happen, right? So when I run this command, you can see that it will execute the LLM, and it will also enable model interaction. So this is the basic command which you have to use so that you can interact with the downloaded model. Keep in mind, this is a primary way to use Ollama for tasks like text generation, question answering, translation, and more via REPL or via API calls. Okay, we will actually see a live example here. So what you're seeing here is REPL itself, right? So basically, it's going to answer all your questions on the terminal itself. So let's say hi. See what the model has to tell. Hello. How can I assist you today? If you have any questions or need information, feel free to ask. Okay. I know you are 5.3 model. Tell me what are the best use cases when I should use 5.3, right? Okay, so here is the primary purpose. So it's basically telling you all the different capabilities, all the different capabilities where you can use 5.3. You can use it for data analysis. You can also use it for natural language processing. That's good. You can also, you can see here, this entire output is basically streamed output. Basically looks like somebody's typing there, right? So you can use it for machine learning and predictive analytics. You can use it in healthcare and biotech applications, customer service automation. Oh, that's nice. All these different use cases where I can use educational tools, all these use cases where I can use a 5.3 model. That's good. Very good. Pretty good. Now let's go back to our other tab and basically see if our Llama model is downloaded. And just for my curiosity, for our curiosity, let's basically run the Ollama commands to basically list all the models available and also run them. So Ollama list all the models. I have the Llama 3 model and the 5.3 model. Okay, so Ollama, let me show Llama 3. Let's give me the information about it, right? Here in this case, it says architecture, the parameters 8 billion, context length is 8192, embedding length and quantization. That's very good. So you can see here the release date, Llama 3 version release date, April 19, 2024. Perfect. I told you that it's frozen in time, right? A particular large language model is frozen in time. So if I go back to my Ollama and basically ask who won the election, okay, election in US, in US 2024, okay, who won the presidential election? Okay, let's try it out. Okay, let's try it out. Let's see. It's giving an answer which is kind of diplomatic, but it's also telling the results indicated that Joe Biden won. However, you might note for accuracy, you need to also check. They are basically giving a diplomatic answer. Also, in this case, the model is giving this diplomatic answer. Let's basically do one thing. Let's quickly ask the same question to our meta model. Give me one moment. Oh, sorry. Ollama run Llama 3, right? Okay, let's see. I'm afraid. Okay, it's too early to, okay, see this one. It says, I'm afraid it's too early to predict who will win the presidential election, blah, 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 in 2024. The next presidential election is scheduled to take place on November 3, 2024. Keep in mind, I told you that these models are frozen in time. Look at this one. I am actually recording this video on Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. This is 2025. This is 2025, January 8th. Look at this one. I am here, January 2025 to January 2025. That's January 8th, 2025. And you can see that these large language models are kind of frozen in time because this was released on April 18, 2024. So it has only knowledge until then, until that time, not more than that. If you want more than that, you need to keep training with the new data of recent events. In this case, Llama is telling, boss, this is the thing that, it's going to take place, scheduled to take place on November 3, 2020. It's already done. And we are already ahead, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're building on top of these large language models. These large language models are very good because they have, I would say, internet scale data, which it is already trained upon. It has all the knowledge until the date when it has basically released, and based on the previous information which it has, it's going to answer all of your questions will be answering based on that, right? So if you want to exit, by the way, if you want to exit from Ollama, you just type buy here and then basically /buy will basically help you exit. Apart from serve, create, show, run, you also have other commands like stop, pull, push. Okay, these different commands are pretty self-explanatory. We already ran the pull command, right? Other commands are pretty self-explanatory, like stop, which is going to stop a running model. Push, which is going to push a model to a registry. We also ran the list. List is basically going to list all the models which you have. You can run the PS, which is going to list the running models. CP to copy a model, RM to remove a model, and then help to give any help about a particular command which you want to run, right? So that's just the basics of how you can use Ollama, and some more information on how these large language models work. In the upcoming videos, we will also see how you can first of all make use of a large language model, how you can interact with it. We will also create a custom model for ourselves to solve a business use case so that we can build some proof of concepts. I will be building 10 to 12 different proof of concepts as we go on, and then we will see how we can also use a UI, how we can use open source tools to create a chat interface so that we can interact with it. Right now we are just interacting on the CLI, but we will see how you can also use a chat interface sooner in the upcoming videos. And then as usual, until then, make sure that you keep commenting, make sure you keep subscribing, like, share, follow, and please tell it to your friends if it is useful. Okay, we will catch up in yet another video. Thank you.